We talk a lot, even in the previous segment, about noticing patterns. We also talk a lot about the corruption of the government and the arms of the media that toe the government line. And we often wonder why that is. And I have my own personal theory about this that also recognizes patterns. That pattern being that a hefty number of media pundits in the elite talking class seem to be paedophiles, or at least associated heavily with paedophiles. The BBC.
Is this a pattern we're allowed to notice?
I'm saying yes. I've determined that yes, you're allowed to notice that the BBC seems to harbour a shocking number of paedophiles, even following the Jimmy Savile scandal, which would at least make you think that they would be on high alert, making sure to weed out any paedophiles in their midst. Although, of course, we know as well that Jimmy Savile was well known for his own activities, his illegal activities within the organisation, was actively protected.
They facilitated it too.
So, I mean, my ultimate theory of politics is, as it exists in the modern, contemporary world that we live in, that probably about at least 60% of all political and media action can be explained in, if you look at David Cameron having sex with a pig's head and such things like this, can be explained by sexual blackmail that goes on behind the scenes to motivate action. That's how I read it, and this is the latest story that seems to confirm it, which is that Hugh Edwards, a BBC presenter
the lead presenter.
The lead presenter of BBC News at 10, I believe it was, who resigned in April of this year after having been suspended last July, it turns out is another in a long list of BBC nonsense. But we'll go on to speak about this. So first of all, last year there was a large controversy that came out around him around the exact same time of year. It was July of 2023 when The Sun released a story that they said was in the public interest, where it turned out that Hugh Edwards had been speaking, sending inappropriate messages and exchanging money with a 17-year-old. Now, this didn't come to everything. This didn't come to a head at the time, mainly because there was a lot of different allegations and media pundits were throwing accusations at The Sun, saying that they'd got a lot of this information illegitimately and were promoting the story outside of the public interest purely for the sake of pushing tabloids. But here's what they originally said. It was that a high-profile BBC presenter, which was later revealed to be Edwards, had given a young person more than £35,000 since they were 17 in return for sordid images. Now,
just a quick thing. Hugh Edwards was on about £450,000 a year
of taxpayer money. Taxpayer money.
License payer money. You have to pay that license if you want to watch TV. You have to facilitate Hugh Edwards paying underage kids for sordid images.
And who knows how many other BBC presenters. So his wife came out and said that he would respond to the allegations, but had been going through some troubles with because it triggered a serious mental health episode. He was in poor Boo Boo. He was in hospital. He tried to play the sympathy game. This was reported The Sun then reported on a letter external from the young person's lawyer to the BBC denying the substance of the Sun's story and their parents' response, because the parents also did an interview with the Sun saying that, this happened. We're horrified that this happened. Our son is literally a crack addict and this guy was sending money to him to help him to continue his crack addiction.
Huge amounts of money. 35 grand is a yearly salary.
Well, crack don't come cheap, Cut.
Well, that's true.
This
I don't know how much it costs, but I assume it's not cheap.
Yeah, so after that all came out, his ultimate suspension came not from this Sun story. It came from the fact that at the exact same time, a lot of other people in the BBC decided to come out and say, actually he's been messaging me inappropriately as well. The Sun said the presenter broke COVID lockdown rules to meet a 23-year-old who had contacted on a dating site. Paper also published messages it's claimed were from the Star to a 17-year-old on Instagram, including love heart emojis. Shortly after Edwards was named by his wife, BBC News reported that 3 current and former employees of the BBC claimed Edwards had sent messages that made them uncomfortable. So a sex pest.
Yeah.
A disgusting sex pest.
Yet another one.
Yet another one being harboured and protected by the BBC, because if you're going to tell me that these people had made these claims to the BBC only after all of this came out, no, That's obviously untrue. From what I can tell, the BBC were probably made aware of all of this before they decided to report on it.
Like with Jimmy Savile, it'll have been an open secret in the staff rooms
of
the BBC. Oh, here comes Hugh Edwards, watch out.
Yeah, the police decided to take no further action at the time. But of course, when all of that came out, there were many people very eager to come out and defend Hugh Edwards and talk about how the Sun was a rag. John Soppel, former BBC employee and a friend of Edwards, who said that, I can't believe how disgusting the tabloid press are. They all need to take a hard look in the mirror. Of course, your taxpayer money should be going towards sex pests. This is what the British government is all about. After all, he didn't actually say that, but he was saying about how terrible this was. Owen Jones decided to go on a big rant about the Sun as well, saying they were trying to destroy someone's life with false claims of illegality involving a minor.
You mean he got Me Too'd?
Yeah, he's basically trying to say he got Me Too'd, despite the fact that his wife, when she came out and said, he'll address it, didn't deny it.
Yeah.
Didn't deny it.
But the thing is, all of these people were on the other side of the issue when Me Too was happening. They're like, oh, well, we've got to believe all women. Yep. Every allegation is legitimate. That person should be cancelled. Presumption of innocence has gone down the tubes until it's one of their guys.
Yes. And, of course, all of this came to a head now at the beginning of the week. The news story broke just as the events in Southport were going down. So some people think that the only reason that the media might have been keeping this in their back pocket just for such an event. It turned out that Hugh Edwards had been arrested back in November.
You know what's interesting? I went to Bristol because it was eldest daughter's birthday yesterday. And we went past the newsstand and it was just Hugh Edwards' face all over the newsstand. Hugh Edwards, nonce. That's with basically this picture. That was the story. Like, none of the riots, none of the...
it's absolutely important to understand that the people that the BBC are hiring and promoting as their lead newsreaders are disgusting, sexual, degenerate paedophiles. But also, it's very convenient. But it shows, again, how desperate they are when they're willing to throw their own under the bus to distract.
Question. How long was he on BBC? Because...
Years.
Yeah, how long is he?
Decades, probably.
Decades. So how can you be decades in collaborating for decades with someone without having any inclination?
You can't.
You can't.
I mean, Jimmy Savile had been employed by them
stay silent.
The early 70s.
Or you can, but you stay silent, because you mentioned some people who started talking about it.
Yeah, they would have just kept their mouth shut.
Yeah, so he was accused of having dozens of photographs on WhatsApp, including 7 of the most serious type. As you can see from the headline, he has pled guilty to 3 counts of making indecent images of children.
Made them?
Well, that's what they're saying in the headlines, but when you read this story, I'll go through it now. So he was arrested in November last year and charged last month, but the details of those developments and his court appearance were kept under wraps by authorities until Monday. The offences were committed between December 2020 and August 2021. The court heard that Edwards had been involved in an online chat with an adult man on WhatsApp between December 2020 and August 2021, who sent him 377 sexual images, of which 41 were indecent images of children. Of the category A images, which is the worst kind that you can have according to British law, the estimated age of most of the children was between 13 and 15. However, one was aged between 7 and 9, the court was told.
It's just disgusting.
Why did they sit on this for 6 months?
The BBC supposedly sat on it for 6 months because of the fact that the police had told them to keep it under wraps.
Right, so they kept paying him?
Yes.
So he got
until he resigned in April.
So what, he got about £200,000?
Yes, actually, yes, about £200,000 in that time.
Amazing.
So those offences are contrary to a number of sections and laws. He could now receive a maximum penalty of 10 years imprisonment. That's it. That's the maximum, and he's
we should be so lucky. Yeah. He ain't going to get that.
He was previously the BBC's highest paid newsreader, with a pay bracket between the year 2023 to 24 of $475,000 to $479,000 for the year,
nearly half,
which was a £40,000 increase on the year prior.
Amazing.
So, well done. Good behaviour, good work. We give you a pay bump for that, Hugh.
You know that meme where it's just the picture of the universe? And there's a little arrow pointing to the Milky Way. It's like, you're here paying taxes to paedophiles.
I don't see... Where's the lie?
Yeah, exactly. How's it wrong?
Where's the lie? They've been reporting on the sex offender who was sending him these images, Alex Williams, and I've got to say, looking at this, physiognomy never lies.
It's always the person you most suspect.
Yeah, every time. Listen, if you look at somebody and your gut tells you don't trust that person, you're probably right.
Yeah.
You have been honed by thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years of evolution and intelligent design
to spot a wrong un.
To spot a wrong un, yes. So there's Williams was convicted of 7 counts of distributing and possessing indecent images, including 1 charge of possessing prohibited images of children. Of course, and at least one of them that he sent to Hugh Edwards was between 7 and 9 years old. Can you guess how much he was sent away for?
You know, I reckon he got a suspended sentence.
Well, in March this year, Williams was given a 12-month sentence, suspended for 2 years.
I knew it! God damn it! They constantly do this.
I hate this country.
Honestly, so this is something that constantly comes up in the Swindon Advertiser, right? For some reason, whenever a nonce is and there was one guy who had 30,000 images, and he got a suspended sentence, and the judges just constantly suspended sentence, suspended sentence, suspended sentence. And it's just like, why? Why are these people not being sent to jail?
Well, let me think. Our political class seem to be a bunch of disgusting sexual perverts and paedophiles, and the media class seems to be. Could the judicial class be as well? Question mark.
Yeah.
This is a question.
AE, Samson. AE.
Yes.
AE.
No. They're not going to just put pedo in the headline. No. AE Samson. Right. Go back. There we go. Yes, there we go. No, not P-file. Oh, this is like pulling teeth.
Sorry, I can't spell it.
PAEDO file. There we go. Yep, carry on. There we are. And still nothing. They've scrubbed it. They've scrubbed it as they've been watching this stream, I assume. Oh, wait. Here we go.
There we go. Oh, look, there's one that's actually gone to jail. Oh, my God.
Jailed for 10 years, teaching.
This is not hey, I don't know what's happening here.
Years.
But this, honestly, normally it's just let off, man.
Well, we've got more information that we'll get onto in just a moment. So I'm going to move on now, Samson.
Thank God these guys are going to jail, don't you?
Of course, the question that a lot of people are asking is, why was I paying for this? Why was I paying for this? I mean, the big question is...
Why do I live here paying taxes to paedophiles?
Yeah. The big question is, why does this keep happening? Over and over again in the media and political class. Why are they all disgusting perverts? But the BBC, it says in here, for the 5 months after he was arrested, so this was November through to April, paid him £200,000, as you guessed. In an interview with BBC News on Thursday, Mr. Davey said that the corporation had taken difficult decisions in a fair and judicious manner. He said it was legally challenging to recover any of that pay, but he would look at all options. He also said it would be nigh on impossible for the BBC to claw back his pension. So he's still getting his pension.
Jesus Christ.
So it pays to be a BBC paedophile. And I can say that because
we recommend you do that.
He's pled guilty. So, I mean, I can say that, right? Yeah. I can say that.
Well, he can sue you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he can sue me, and then I can say, here's the headline, and here's the article.
Here's the admission.
Yeah, here's the admission when you said it.
Yeah, it's... Jesus Christ.
And again, why does this keep happening, and why do people get such lenient terms for it? Because this is a report from December of last year. About 8 in 10 convicted in the UK over child abuse images avoid prison, according to the National Crime Agency. Yeah. So if they're caught with children being sexually abused, 8 out of 10 of them avoid going to jail. Graham Bigger, the director of this organisation, said that some had been caught with thousands of images but avoid imprisonment, and others had been given rehabilitation orders and suspended sentences and then reoffended. My goodness, who could have seen that one coming?
Yeah, no kidding.
So this country, for some reason, who can only guess, is shockingly lenient on paedophiles of all classes. And I can only assume, personally, that it is because a considerable number of our own ruling class and media class all turn out to be paedophiles and other variants of deviant. Conclude that we're truly ruled by truly disgusting people. But I console myself at the knowledge that if the events of the past week show anything, is that as well as being completely disgusting degenerates, they have coombe brain rot and are also lunatic retards who are not actually really in control of much and are flailing around, failing to establish any sort of thing that could be considered law and order, which is terrible for us right now, but means that their grip on power is probably not half as tight as their grip on their nether regions.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're doing, you can follow our series Lads Hour, where we have a lot of fun. This is where we have a laugh, a bit of a joke, and have fun, a bit of an antidote to our regular depressing news coverage. And if you want to see what else we're doing, you can follow us on Twitter, where we share links to everything we put out so you don't miss a single thing. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.